Hello everyone, what we're going to be doing today is running through taking a static HTML mockup and placing it into Drupal, and that will make it a Drupal theme. So I did record this once, completely unscripted, but I'm not too happy with the recording, so I'm re-recording it now. So hopefully this one will come out a lot better. So for this example, I'm actually going to be using Bootstrap, just to get a very simple Bootstrap style layout, and I'll be putting on top of that this theme called Flatly, which you can get from bootswatch.com. It's a website for free Bootstrap kind of themes. So just to give it something a little bit different. And we're going to be using the Mothership theme. That's because it's a very minimal theme with not much styles and stuff like that it adds in. So we're going to be using that as our base kind of theme. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by creating a very simple, create a new folder in our Drupal directory. This is in the root directory. It doesn't matter, this will be going away. So let's actually call it example. Let's then vim index.html. Alright, so we'll write that. Just getting the URL here to open in Chrome. And there we go, we have a blank page, does nothing. So what I'm going to do here is get a basic layout. So Bootstrap does come with some initial templates you can kind of rip off. So let's have a look. What have we got? This is a basic template here. Let's just use that. So what we're going to do is just put this in here, and we're going to start fiddling around and doing what we need to do. So I'm going to create a folder called vendor, and we're going to copy stuff in there. So let's open this back up, let's refresh, and go back to our index. Hello world, cool. So that's all it does, because at the moment we don't actually have these CSS and JavaScript files. We're going to update these to point out our vendor directory. And that will be linked up. But we still have one thing to do, which is download the styles. So we're going to actually get started. So we're going to download Bootstrap itself. So that's just downloading. Open that folder. And we got CSS, fonts, and JavaScript. So we'll put that into vendor. Now if we reload our template, you can see the styles have changed. So now what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of structure here. So let's use some Bootstrap stuff here. Alright, so this is where our navigation is going to go. We might actually do this as 2 6-column layouts. Let's call this one header logo, nav. So I'll give it a bit of styling in here as well. So we'll actually just say logo in here, and then within this we'll do li times 5 with an a in it, href of hash. About log contact and help. It's just going to be our navigation there. And for our content, let's do so we're going to do our main content area here. Now there is a lot of divs here. They're just simply because of the way that I'm doing it. This is quick and nasty. There's nicer ways to do this. But for the time being, I'm just going to be knocking it out quite nastily. So let's and this can be our sidebar. Then we'll do another one here. Actually, we'll do this as Alright, so what I've done here, this is actually a HTML5 tag using footer. And I've given it the class of footer so we can style that. We'll just call this one footer. So now if we go back and refresh here, you can see Bootstrap's loading in because we have our columns. So there's our 6th column there and 6th column there. I actually just text align that to the right. These are just helpful styles that Bootstrap gives you. Alright, now what I'll quickly do is we'll create another, we'll call this overrides.css. Also include that. And we'll style our nav quickly. So we're zeroing out the margins and padding for the unordered list, which is going to be our navigation. And we will do, make sure, so list style type here, so that you know that basically gets rid of these dots. And we're going to have these as inline block. So the difference is you have a block level element which spans the full width as a block. Then there's inline, which is just like your normal text. Now an inline block gives you the ability to do block level styles, so you can do padding and stuff like that, whereas if it was inline, it doesn't really work too well. So what we're doing there is just displaying it inline, and then generally what you do is with your anchors, so your actual link, is you make them block. So this should put them all in a line, as you can see there. And we might actually wrap our another HTML5 element here. Indent that, just so I can give it a little bit of styling. So let's just go background color blue, color. So that's going to style all the text to be white. We will need to set our links to be white as well. Make them bold. So as you can see, we've got our blue here. It's not a very nice blue, so let's just make it a bit nicer. So with Chrome, you can actually go in here and find elements and change their styling. So I think that blue is quite nice, so let's use that one. So that's a bit nicer. Let's just add some padding. So we're adding padding to the top and bottom and none to the left and right. So that's a shorthand syntax. Now for these list items, let's just put a margin left on them of, let's say, 7 pixels. It should pad them across nicely. Okay, cool, this is looking good. Might actually give some margin to the bottom. Push that content down nicely for us. Next, we might actually style the footer. Let's give that a background color of like that. Add a bit of padding. To quite large. That should probably do. Might actually give some margin to the top. Nice. And next thing we'll style up is our sidebar. Let's give it a background color of, we'll do another blue, so let's do that same blue. Now this will only stretch the height of the actual sidebar. Let's just make it a very light blue, just so you can get an idea that there is a the sidebar there. And we'll add some padding. There we go. So you can see that kind of looks like a sidebar. Now this is very archaic and simple, but just to give you an idea. So that's looking pretty good. So because we're doing this, we might not actually use this Flatly Bootstrap theme. So we don't need Bootstrap anymore. I think that's looking pretty good. So next thing we'll do is get our theme. So let's download our mothership theme. And we will also go into Sites, All Themes. That's where we're going to put our mothership theme. So that's copied across. We have a look in here. So we have a new theme. Let's see what the README says. Okay, install it into Sites All Themes. Copy the new theme folder and move it out of the mothership directory and place it in the theme folder. So let's copy it here. I'll actually just remove it from new theme just in case. Let's call this DGC. And we need to name this one DGC. Get rid of the example. Use info. It's looking good. Next thing we might actually cancel out of that. We'll keep it up actually. All this stuff. I'm going to do some Tmux specialness here. No, don't upgrade that. So we'll call this static. We'll create another one here called theme. This is just Tmux, so I can create multiple tabs, essentially virtual tabs. Let's go into example and I'll open that back up again in Vim. Alright, so back to where we were. So let's go to our theme. CD Sites All Themes DGC. And let's Vim that. Open up our little sidebar here. Alright, so we've got everything we need there, I think. Now let's have a look at template. There's no actual function, so we won't update that for now. This is our page. It's looking good. DGC info. We need to update this. We'll call it DGC. I'll actually just place a whole new theme with DGC. Just in case. That looks good. So we've got some CSS and JavaScript here. We're going to actually be replacing that with our own. So what we'll do is we'll go to our Drupal site here and go to Appearance. Oops, I have to turn powder down. This is just a Ruby thing I've got on. Must be running. Alright, so refresh, there we go. So DGC, let's set that as the default. If we go home, okay, there's our site without our theme. So next thing we're going to do is start integrating our theme, our static site, into the theme. So what I generally like to do is just copy all the styles. So everything in here. Then we go to our theme. So let's open up our page template. I like to go to the very, very top here and just paste it all in. Now with page.tpl.php, it's basically everything within the body tag. So we can nicely just go and remove all of that. Let's go down a page here. Everything within the body. Now we're going to be loading in the JavaScript ourselves, not through HTML here, so leave that is. Now if we refresh here, you'll see we're starting to get some of our markup coming in, but we do need to copy our own style. So we'll copy this vendor folder in the side. And what we'll be doing is then updating our little theme here to include our styles. So we don't need this. This is a flash with unstyled content kind of thing. We don't need that. So we're going to be doing vendor/css/bootstrap.min.css, and then there is our overrides. And then we will do our vendor JavaScript and Bootstrap. Pretty sure it was. Let's have a look. Yeah, we can just do Bootstrap. You can include either the full version or the min version. Drupal will compile that for you as long as you put those performance settings on. So let's refresh our page here. Still no styles. What could be going on? We've updated our CSS here in the info file. What happens is basically Drupal creates a cache, so we need to flush those caches, and it should start bringing in our styles. So as you can see, we've got our styles there. For the time being, I'm just gonna, I'll log out for now. And we can see that there's some stuff coming in here, but we don't need to worry about that. So what we'll do here is next go back to our page template and start adding in the dynamic content. So we don't need any of this stuff here. We might keep this helper. We'll move him to the very top. And we'll go down the page. What do we want here? So we can do the logo. Yeah, let's do the logo instead of text. How about that? So that's the Drupal logo. So we'll put it inside here. Get rid of that. Now if we refresh, our logo should be in the little header section there. It's looking great. The black on the blue doesn't look too good though. Next thing we'll do, if we go back up, let's have a look. What else have we got? Site name, site slogan. Don't want any of that. Maybe the header region. Let's copy that. Now I didn't actually check what was in these sections, these regions. So we'll find out just by looking here. So I'm going to remove text navigation there. Alright, so there's no navigation, so I mustn't have set that up. But that's where our navigation would sit. You may need to then modify some styling, which you can just do through your inspector, whether you're in Firefox, Chrome, or whatever. They all have inspectors, and just find out what styles you need to update or change. Next we need to do is our main content. So let's get rid of this header. We don't need any of that anymore. Our main page. So this is all our main page stuff. So let's copy all of that and move it into our main content area. Like that, we'll move this all in a couple. Alright, let's go back in here. Cool, welcome to static theme. So we've got some of our content in there, which is great. It's the next thing that we need. Let's move our sidebar into the sidebar section. So that's our sidebar. It looks like there's something, it's not quite right, so I may have missed something here. But we'll double check that. And the next thing what we'll do is we don't need our second sidebar in this example, and then we'll just go into our footer here, paste that in, remove all that. So that's basically all the dynamic sections added into our static HTML template. And you can see there's something going on here, so it looks like I've either messed up a div or something like that. Let me just get rid of these notifications, sorry. So there is a problem there. So more than likely I've accidentally copied some markup that I shouldn't have. So let's just see if we can quickly match all this stuff up. There's definitely some style interfering there, which I'm not too sure which styles are doing it. So the easiest way to do this is to simply start commenting stuff out. Oops, it's not going to do it in the right comments, so I have to do those manually. Let's get rid of our sidebar. So that's all looking fine, so it must be somewhere between here and there. So let's comment out our main content area. Still something wrong there. So let's undo that. So maybe it's with our header. So sometimes this happens if you've just missed something. So it looks like there's something going on there. I'm not too sure why. It's kind of odd. It's very, very bizarre. But more than likely I'm missing something very, very simple here. It always happens to be the way. That looks fine. This looks fine. Div and div. All their divs look like they've ended correctly. Just quickly clear our cache, just in case something was going on there. It's very strange while we're getting this layout bug. Let's see what. There's some styles being loaded in. So for some reason, there's some styles here that are overriding, as you can see. So that actually was our problem. Alright, so that's our main problem right there, is that there is still some styles being loaded in from here, which I did take out, so it's a little bit annoying. So maybe let's get rid of our base theme and just see if that fixes that issue. No, still, let's just clear our cache again. There we go. So right now this isn't acting as a child theme, so I'm not going to get any of the powers or features that Mothership gives me. But to see this example, it's working. But as you can see, there are problems. So what we'd need to do is actually in our template.php is make sure that we unload those specific styles from the Mothership theme, or we could then just go and simply remove some of those styling manually in our overrides file. But that's basically it. So from here you can do whatever you normally need to do. Let's have a look. Alright, see, we're getting some issues there because I didn't, I'm not including Mothership as the parent theme. So we're getting errors from that helper. So if we go back up to the top here, if we remove that, we won't have any issues. That message, I need to clear the caches, should go away. So to make this a little bit more interesting, let's just add a little bit of content. Let's add an article, example article, test. Let's save that and promote it to the front page. Go back to home. There's our article. There are some issues here. This is, again, probably some issues. Yeah, as you can see, the helper in our node.tpl.php. So as you can see there's some helper there. Let's just remove that. Refresh. Still the issues, of course. Flush our caches, seeing as we've updated that template file. Slowly you can see we're getting rid of those errors. So you just rinse and repeat. But generally, if you are doing a base theme, then you won't have to worry about this. It's just because I want to get past that styling error fairly quickly. But that's essentially it. So placing it in is fairly simple, and it's just modifying your styles for later on. So you need to change something for views or something like that, you can do that. But while I'm here, we might actually see about our menus. We do have a main menu. Let's see what our links are. Home. So let's just add another link in here. We'll call that, we'll just call it Coder Catch Up. I have a new podcast called Coder Catch Up. So why not we just link to it so people can find it. Put that there. We'll save it. And we will go to our blocks. We did have our hot header region. So where is our main navigation? Main menu. We'll drag him up here. Put him into the header. Save that. Let's go back to the home page. There's our main menu. Now we could get rid of this via removing it by configuring the block. So we could set the region there, or we can, where's the title? None. So we can either set the region here, or we can do the dragging. It's the power of the blocks interface. Come back, refresh, There we go, everything's looking good. Now, if I have a look at these styles, you'll probably notice it's not aligning to the right, but we want that to be on the right. So let's have a look at some of the styling. We'll just slowly go down one by one. This is how I generally debug these issues. Right, no, it's not doing. That's the contextual helper content. See if there's any kind of styling in the content that could be overriding here. In this menu, text align left. So why don't we use this as a good option, a good opportunity to update our CSS. So if we go back here, you can see we have our vendor folder. So what we'll do is go into vendor, CSS, to our overrides, and because we only want to change this for the header, we'll just put these styles in here. Oops. What was that? It was ul.menu, and we're going to text align right. Refresh. See our navigation's over to the right, so let's just log out for a second. And there's our navigation all set up like we had in our theme. Now, things are being pushed out. It's a bit higher there, so you might want to set some line height or something like that. This is where you come in and start adjusting your theme. Generally, you'd be designing this beforehand, whether in the browser in Photoshop or something like that. So you wouldn't have all these issues. But for this example, something like this will do. So as you can see, that's our little theme that we've implemented very, very quickly with some debugging that we've come across. But anyway, that's basically it. So you can take that and build on it, see how you go. I'm interested to see if anyone decides to either purchase a static template and put it into Drupal, or build their own static template and then put it into Drupal. See how you all go. It's all just about debugging, playing around and seeing how pieces fit. But if you think about the Drupal block system and how that works, you should be able to create a very nice, useful theme in Drupal very, very quickly. Anyway, that's it for now. Any feedback, please let me know, and we'll catch you next time.